Hello everyone and welcome back. In this session, we will observe the associativity violation and the solution with respect to context-free grammars. So, without any further ado, let's get to learning. Coming to the outcome of today's session, today we will start off by learning the reason for associativity violation. Basically, we will observe what exactly leads to associativity violation, and thereafter we will learn the solution to it. Consider this context-free grammar. It's got two production rules. The first rule states E can be rewritten as E plus E, and the second one says E can be rewritten as ID. Suppose we are trying to derive the string ID plus ID plus ID. Clearly, using these rules, this can be derived in two ways. One way would be like this, where we derive E plus E at first and then derive the next E plus E from this E. Now in the second way, instead of this E, we will derive the next E plus E from this E. Although both the parse trees would produce the same and correct result, because the only operators being used is plus, but by definition, the plus or addition operator is left associative. Let's understand the reason behind obtaining two different parse trees. Now in both the cases, the first level of derivation is same. Now if we expand this E, that is this specific derivation, we end up obtaining ID plus ID plus ID. Whereas, if we expand this E, that is this specific derivation, we end up obtaining ID plus ID plus ID. Now we know that this one's the correct one. Basically, the ability of expanding the tree in this direction is leading towards the wrong derivation. So what we will do? We will try and restrict the growth of the parse tree towards the left direction, because clearly that's how we can ensure left associativity, correct? So this is the reason for associativity violation. Basically, the flexibility of expanding derivation on either sides is actually the problem in disguise. Now let's see how we can resolve this. So our production rules have to be modified to facilitate the restriction. Right now in the first rule, E can be rewritten as E plus E. Here, having E on both the sides of the addition operator is the problematic one. So we will modify the set of rules as this. Observe, apart from E plus E, E could only be rewritten as ID, right? So instead of E plus E, we will now derive E plus ID. Also, we should always be able to produce ID, so we are keeping the rule E can be rewritten as ID as well. Basically, we just restricted the flexibility of expanding the derivation on both the sides of plus. Let me illustrate. Say, with this modified set of rules, we are trying to derive the same string ID plus ID plus ID. Let's begin with the start symbol E. Using the first rule, we will derive E plus ID. Now notice carefully, at this level, the only non-terminal is this E, and alongside it, we have the terminals, this plus and this ID. Clearly, only this E is expandable. So in this string, we have derived this portion plus an ID, and we are yet to derive this. Now again applying the first rule, we derive E plus ID. Now we have derived the portion plus ID plus ID. Finally, we will derive ID from this E using the second rule. Now as you all can observe, the tree only grew in left direction, just because we modified the production rules. So during evaluation, as it starts from bottom level, so this ID will be added with this one first, then that result will be added with this ID. So now ID plus ID plus ID becomes ID plus ID plus ID, justifying the left associativity of the addition operator. Now notice the production rule once again. Here the non-terminal of the left-hand side is reappearing as the leftmost non-terminal on the right-hand side. Production rules as such are called left recursive production. Remember this: recurrence or reoccurrence as the leftmost non-terminal. So to satisfy left associativity, we will use left recursive production rules, whereas to ensure right associativity, we will use right recursive production rules. So in this session, we first observed the reason for associativity violation and then we learned the solution to it. Alright people, that will be all for this session. In the next session, we will see the reason for precedence property violation and the solution of it. So I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you all for watching.